Namaste. How's it going? What constitutes a proper and holistic yoga asana practice, leading to more energetic and meditative benefits later on? Does practicing one or two asana, probably those are complex ones, fancy ones, and neglecting and taking the other ones aside could be considered an asana program? No. Uh, Asana is a way for us to break free from the tamas or the heaviness or the inertia of the physical body. Yes, by doing a few of them only would give you some physical benefit. But when it comes to that purpose, we need to develop the body and cultivate it in its entirety, from inside outside, in all directions and possible motions, yeah, actions, dimensions. And then this also prepares us for the rigors or the challenges of pranayama. Because the goal of asana is to open the energetic pathways within, to strengthen the cardiorespiratory system so we can absorb more energy out of the breath, because we will be utilizing that in buffering our nadis and purifying them as well, so we can awaken our subtle dimensions. When we talk about yoga asana, we pay attention to two important anatomical components, and it doesn't include the brain actually: the spine and the hips. The brain is the most stubborn. It could even sabotage your practice. So controlling the brain without working on the lower body parts could be detrimental. It could create conflict or even pain and suffering. The spine, when it's open, paves way for the many energetic subtleness there. The nerves awaken. The circulatory system improve, and then the rest of us shall follow, even the brain. When the benefit of the practice happens to us, then we become more willing to sacrifice and a lot more time in the practice. Good. Now, speaking of asana, there is an order actually. When we talk about the spine, we have to move it in various directions. And even that is not enough. Knowing that we need to move the spine, we need to tackle the order of its development. And the hips, of course. The first 2 years of the practice is crucial. It's important because that's when we gain the most out of the practice. And also, that's the time we could create many mistakes. And then sometimes, mistakes could be more serious than just scratching the skin. Yeah, it could even go as serious as breaking a bone or sending too much electrical current in your nervous system. And then going back might be difficult to attain because the trauma will always be there lingering. And therefore, we need to follow the order. And this comes from personal experience. As human beings, we're more attuned to the action of forward bending. Flexion, that's the first technique. That's the first action we need to develop. Flexing elements. And in Hatha Yoga, there's one component of it, a recommended practice of the Paschimottanasana, or the sitting forward bend. And then there are many actually in the modern yoga, standing ones, those things. If you practice Surya Namaskar, for example, the the sun salutation, it's a complete one, except for the twist. Because the Surya Namaskar, there's always this stepping forward and stepping backwards. And in the process, you're curling back, you're folding forward, and then you stretch the side body as well. But another component the Surya Namaskar lacks is the spinal twist. Now, flexing elements also develop the core of the body, aside from the physical benefit of releasing the back of the body and opening the back plane. Yeah, forward bends likewise stimulate the nerve channels and the lower meridians of the energetic anatomy, particularly the Manipura chakra, and then the lower ones of the Swadhisthana and the uh, Muladhara chakra. Yeah. And these are important because this is where the fire of the Agni comes from. Yeah, the Apana Vayu comes from the hips. And by cultivating the hips in the lower part of the spine, we pave way for the rising and the stimulation of these important channels, which in a normal situation, they are blocked or dormant for our safety, of course. Now, side by side deflection, we also need to move the spine in its rotational axis, spiraling twist. And actually, forward bends and twisting could be alternate elements, techniques you can practice. You may practice a forward bend, and then to break the cycle, you can do a twist. And in relation to that, another technique is side stretching. So these three, flexion, lateral extension, side bend, and twisting, they are clustered in one group. And then they all benefit the lower part of the energetic anatomy. All right. As an example, for example, if you are having a 30-minute practice of yoga asana, and in this modern times, 30 minutes is quite challenging to sustain, because you have to do it almost every day. So I recommend sitting in the sukhasana. After sitting in the sukhasana, circle around. Good. About a minute of this, moving side to side, just to loosen the stagnation. And then you're lifting the arms up. And then you place one hand to the side and stretch sideways. And after this, back to the center and then twisting. So this is how I flow. It's like a compounded technique. So like you're doing many techniques in one. I'm doing the sukhasana, which is an essential. I'm doing a side stretch and I'm doing a twist. Then I'll add on another side stretch and I'll do a flexion over my hips. And as you hold that element, you can circle around like so. Or you can do Paschimottanasana, then flow a vinyasa if you're doing a vinyasa. Then sit in the sukhasana, do side stretch and twist combination. And then do this cycle for like 2 or 3 repetitions. Because you're doing the side stretch, therefore you're doing one per side, and that constitutes about 4 repetitions already. So level it, so to speak. About 15 minutes of your 30-minute practice allotted to these 3 important elements. And in the long term, the bulk of your home practice should be allotted to developing the hips and the lower spine. Okay, now next, the fourth one, which is the most difficult, is extension, back bends. As human beings, we're not given this ability to curl backwards. Yes, there are people who are gifted, but even then, if you're flexible to do the back bend without any strain, you're using the awareness you've developed in the previous observances in accessing the disc of your spine. Because in back bending, you just don't curl back. You need to lift the discs and then sending the breath through those discs to awaken the nerves, and then you curl back to open the pathway. And then back bends opens the higher center, which is around the chest region, where our circulatory and respiratory system are located, the heart and the lungs. And back bending allows us to draw more energy out of that gaseous breath, because that one, we're going to be flowing down to our hips, where the apana is waiting. We've cultivated in the past lessons, and then together they blend around the Manipura chakra and they will rise up to the brain. Good. And that leads me to the final culmination of your practice, which is a mudra. A mudra, in a technical sense, are practices we do to lift the unified force we cultivated from those lower observances to the brain. And there are various mudras. In Hatha Yoga, there's what we call the Viparita Karani Mudra, yeah, slash asana. Yeah, so where the hips are hanging up in the air and then you're catching them with the hands and you're holding it while performing other techniques involved in the practice. But that is an advanced one. For general practitioner, yeah, lying down is just in the Shavasana, yeah, lying down flat is also a way for you to channelize the energy from the body to the brain. Sitting like this is another one. And then utilizing the power of the eyes and the power of the brain to lift the energy up. Mudras is where the spine is open, yeah, in the vertical position, where it's stacked over itself, so to speak, and then the channels are freely open to receive the information, yeah, to the brain. Okay. So in a nutshell, when you practice, think about this. Flexion, twisting, side stretching, open the spine. And you finish and culminate the practice with a mudra. And that constitutes a proper, holistic yoga asana program. I'll see you in the next one. Namaste.